mutton stew. Hi, welcome to Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana. My name is Sonika and today we're going to make a recipe which is very easy but is equally interesting. So today we're making mutton stew. Let's take a look at all the ingredients we need to make it. Mutton pieces on the bone, potatoes cut into cubes, carrots cut into cubes, thin coconut milk or the second or the third extract of coconut milk, clarified butter or ghee, mustard seeds, thick coconut milk or the first extract of coconut milk, bay leaves, cinnamon sticks, black peppercorns, green cardamom, cumin powder, chopped garlic, vinegar, some cloves, some slit green chillies, ginger cut into juliennes, curry leaves, salt. So without wasting much time, let's start making this recipe. What we'll do first is that we're going to use a pressure cooker in which I'm going to add some clarified butter or ghee. To this, we're going to add all of our whole spices. We're going to add some black peppercorns, a couple of pods of green cardamom. We're going to go ahead and add the entire pod because we're roasting the spices, so they'll release all of their flavors. A couple of cloves, some cinnamon sticks, and a couple of bay leaves. So I added the whole spices to the ghee while the ghee was moderately hot. Now that our ghee is really nice and hot, I'm going to add some mustard seeds to it and we'll wait for them to splutter. I can hear our mustard seeds crackling. I'm going to add some curry leaves to this. We've got an amazing aroma of some beautiful spices right now completely filling the kitchen. To this I'm going to add some slit green chilies. I'm going to add one green chili slit into two. What we'll add next is our cubed potatoes. We've got some potatoes that we've cut into cubes of this size, so we'll add that. Along with this, we'll also add a couple of pieces of carrots. I'm just going to lightly mix this around. What we'll add next is some chopped garlic. We'll also add some ginger juliennes in at this stage. Give it a mix again. We're going to do all of this cooking on a high flame. Next, we're going to add in mutton, which is our main ingredient in the mutton stew. So I'm going to add a couple of pieces of mutton. Let's mix this around. So what we want to do here is just sear the mutton a little bit so it gets a little brown on the outside. Now let's add some cumin powder to this. We're adding cumin powder later because we don't want it to burn. And give it a mix again. Now let's go ahead and add the thin coconut milk to this. Thin coconut milk is basically the second or the third extract of the coconut. So we've got almost all of our ingredients in the cooker now. Let's add a little salt for seasoning. At this point, I'm going to add another slit green chili into this. The reason why I'm adding it in installments is because when I added the first chili, I wanted to fry it out a little so it reduces the spiciness of it. But this is going to boil along with the other ingredients, so it's going to be a nice and really spicy flavor. So we're going to cover this with a lid and pressure cook it for around 4 to 5 whistles or till you think the mutton is completely cooked. So our mutton stew has been in the cooker and we've given it about 6 to 7 whistles. Let's take a look and see if our mutton is completely done or not. So I'm going to turn off the gas. My kitchen right now is bursting with this aroma of some really great ingredients that have been cooking together. So our stew is almost ready. We're going to turn on the flame again. Our mutton pieces are nice and tender. They're almost just falling off the bone. The potatoes and the carrots are perfectly cooked. Now we're going to turn the heat back on and add a couple of ingredients more. Now we're going to add in our coconut milk or the thick coconut milk that we've got. Let's mix this around. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of crushed black pepper. Our stew is ready to be served. If you find that the stew is too watery, then you could always thicken it by diluting some wheat flour with some water and adding it to this. But this is how I like my stew. Now let's turn off the flame and add one final ingredient. That is a little vinegar for some sourness. So we've added vinegar at the end because if we add it during the cooking process, there are chances that our coconut milk would split. So we've added vinegar at the end. Our stew is completely ready now. It's time to plate it. So I've got this lovely bowl over here and I'm going to pour some of the stew into it. Our stew is ready to be eaten. You can either have it with steamed rice or with bread or with appams or with idlis or just like that. So what we're going to do finally for presentation is we're going to drizzle some ghee over it just to add to the lovely homely feeling of the stew. And finally we're going to garnish it with some green chillies and some ginger juliennes. So here it is, our mutton stew, a recipe that is so wholesome, that is so tasty. It is one of my favorites. I'm sure once you make it, it's going to be yours too.